Second Battle of Sarria Day 2. Not happy with yesterday's outcome, Field Marshal Sir Percival Gifford marshals his forces back into order. As dawn rises, he marches his forces back into the outskirts of Sarria, hoping to catch the French forces out of position. As he makes his way through the outskirts, scouts warn Sir Gifford that French forces have assembled on the other side of a small hill. In fact, it is the remnants of the Middle Guard and their depleted cavalry that seek to thwart the British plans.
British turn 1. The English send the cannons further into the residential zone as the bulk of the force move towards the hill. French turn 1. The Middle Guard holds position waiting for reinforcements. British turn 2. At the same time, more British forces start to arrive. French turn 2. Cannon and hussar reinforcements arrive for the French, allowing the Middle Guard to start advancing, making their way around the farmer's stock pond. British turn 3. The Allied lancers move to cover the road into the residential zone, as the cannon are set up to cover the forces on the hill. British infantry start to turn the houses into defensive positions, while the rest of their brigade move onto the hilltop. At the same time, more reinforcements arrive in the form of a marching column of Hanoverians. French turn 3. Cannon open fire as a horde of French cavalry sweep past them. The Middle Guard advance upon the hill, somewhat slowed down by the hay fields. British turn 4. Stoic British artillerymen continue their duel with the French cannon, supported by skirmishing fire which starts to take a toll on the French hussars. The British forces have now occupied the hill in numbers, with squares formed and cavalry ready to charge. French turn 4. Undaunted by their losses, the French cannon continue to fire, supported by the brave hussars whose presence keeps the British in their cowardly squares. The heavy cavalry slowly make their way through the stock pond, flanked by the Middle Guard, who finally start to make their way up the hillside. On their far left, the Middle Guard cannon unlimber, precariously close to the British forces. British turn 5. The cannons continue to take a toll on the French, this time against the cuirassiers. The British squares and supporting skirmishers take a heavy toll on the hussars. As speculative fire merely angers the advancing carabiniers. Somehow a regiment of Allied hussars flank the Middle Guard cannon, wiping them out for minimal casualties. Unfortunately, in their bloodlust, they charge the next force they see, who turns out to be a more than ready Middle Guard battalion. At the same time, the depleted French hussars are caught out by a small regiment of Allied hussars, who easily drive them from the field and fall back towards the town. French turn 5. The French batteries take time to move the wounded back and recrew the guns. The carabinier and cuirassiers begin to trot forward, sabres raised in a grim promise to the British. British turn 6. As British skirmishers pour fire into the oncoming French, Sir Percival directs everyone to focus on the cuirassiers. With his focus on the oncoming cavalry, there is confusion amongst the reinforcements, and a panicking Hanoverian battalion decides to form a square. French turn 6. Cannon fire as cuirassiers recover, and the middle guard continue their slow advance. British turn 7. The cannons continue to take a toll on the cuirassier regiment, whilst the squares try to drive off the oncoming guard and carabineers. On the far flank, the hussars begin to flank the French cannon. And on the hill, the Hanoverians form a line ready to receive a French charge. French turn 7. The cannon turn to face the oncoming hussars, while on the hill the guard charge the Hanoverians, easily running them off thanks to their lancer support. British turn 8. As evening dawns, the British attempt to hold the hill by means of overwhelming firepower, pouring tons of lead into the French. But the French prove to be too stalwart to succumb. The small hussar regiment charges the French battery. At the same time, the Allied lancers engage the guard on the hill's summit. The lancers drive through the 1st Guard battalion and smash into the next line, but their fervour is soon quelled. In the fight between cavalry and cannon, the hussars come out the victor, then start to circle back towards the British forces. French turn 8. As the sun lowers, the French forces on the hill clash with the Hanoverians and British square, to no avail. Both sides agree to fall back to their camps as the British commanders worry that their centre will break. The French are aware that their flank is exposed, and they have no cannon support. The Second Battle of Sarria lasted for 2 days, with neither side able to force the other to capitulate, though both sides suffered heavy losses.